This is Nilsson, Mad Scientist of Muscle, and what I've got for you today here is a quick review of a pair of Easy Bar mimicking fat grips. Now these are made by the same guys who make the BFR bands, the blood flow restriction bands, which I'm a big fan of. This product, I'll give you a quick close-up here. I've already got it attached to the bar. What it does, clips on and gives you the same angle as an Easy Curl bar. Now, the Easy Curl bar was created with those cameras in order to make it easier on the wrists. When you're doing a full supination, that can put a lot of torque on the wrists. The Easy Curl bar takes that torque off the wrists by kind of changing the angle. Now, the only downside of this, by reducing the supination, you actually do reduce some of the bicep contraction and bicep work you're able to get from the exercise. So I've never really been, to be honest, a huge fan of Easy Curls, but that being said, if you have wrist issues from doing, and you can't do straight bar curls, it's a good option. Using these clip-on fat bar handles gives you another option if you don't have an Easy Bar. Now, it's going to take a little practice to get these snapped on. What I found, you see how this is facing that way? In order to get the right angle, this needs to be directly opposite to it. So you can see how the angles go on here. One angled up, one angled down. If you put them on the same way, on the same side, the angle is going to be exactly the same. And you'll be curling like that. So that doesn't work. What I found with this, strapping those things on, you're going to need a smaller diameter bar. And what I'm using here and the ones I have are a bit thicker, so it doesn't give you a complete grip all the way around. So on one hand you're holding the grip, on the other hand you're kind of got the gap in the hand. So it sort of works, but if you've got a skinnier bar, it's going to work better. So here's what it looks like when you're holding it. As you can see, that gap is right across. It doesn't totally interfere with the execution of the exercise, so it's actually still a pretty good alternative to the curl with the Easy Bar, and using the fat grip definitely helps. So you're basically just doing the entirely same concept as you do with an Easy Curl when you're using a fat grip here. And as you can see, same kind of movement. You're getting the same kind of angle as you would with an Easy Curl bar. So those are the Easy Curl handles. It's going to take a little bit of practice to kind of get the idea of how exactly to set them on the bar. I know, as an added bonus, these can actually be used for barbell bench pressing. Now, one of the tips for dumbbell bench pressing to keep the tension on the chest is to tilt the hands downwards. Using these, it's going to allow you to do the same thing for a barbell bench press. So, get them set up. Now you can see how my hands are tilted downward like I'm pouring water on myself. As you come to the top, it's going to mean you can't fully lock out the elbows because of how your hands are tilted. The more you try and lock out, the harder the contraction you're going to get on your chest. It's going to feel very weird. It's going to have your hands really wide open, and the balance is going to be different. So start a little bit lighter on this. Really go for squeeze, really go for contraction. But if you get a pair of these, this variation is absolutely worth giving a try. Now, some of the pros on this, you do get the angle as you're doing it. You do get definitely a fat bar kind of feel to it. Widens out the grip, really helps activate the forearms and those hand muscles. Now, the downside is, unless you have a really skinny bar, you're going to have quite a gap on here. The other downside is it's going to take some experimentation to get the angle and the orientation right. So when you're doing this, you might find you're actually getting the same angle on both and you have to adjust. And it's really a little bit tricky to get the same kind of hand angle on both sides as you're doing the exercise. That being said, if you are interested in getting a pair, they're definitely durable. They're definitely going to give you the angle you're looking for, and they're definitely fat in terms of grip. So if you are interested in giving a pair of these a try, I've got a link down below here. Click on that and you'll be able to grab a pair from their site.